Hello and welcome to Now Chat Show. It's your girl Kaz Mac alongside,
Your girl, Miss T.
and we are in the building. How's everybody doing today? How are you doing, Miss T?
I am fabulous, Kaz. I'm enjoying the British sun. I
I
think it's
know,
quite
right?
when it busts out, it busts out.
Yeah, I can't believe that I've got a suntan.
I'm a bit gel. Yeah, I should have
Why?
taken because I'm just not feeling as sun-kissed as I should be. But I'm gonna get my skin out there a bit more. That sounded wrong. Not like that.
Get out there a bit more. That's
You know,
debatable.
you know, it's because I'm always wearing layers of clothing because I don't
Hmm.
trust the weather.
Yeah,
So, like for example, today I thought to myself, I love a hat, but I'm like, take
yeah.
the hat off and let the sun get to your scalp and your face. So yeah. How are you?
I'm great, Queen. As you know, I literally just stuffed my face just a moment ago with some fish and some half raw broccoli.
Good.
I'm so hungry, and it's that time of the month, and you know how it is for us women. So please, guys, to allow us because if you notice that I'm making some delayed response, not that that's anything unusual because I'm a bit like that just in general, but maybe even more tardiness is going to reflect perhaps on this show today, I think.
Hmm.
I don't know. But overall, I'm great. I am great. And I rushed going to the gym as well. Literally went to the gym about 4:30 this
Oh wow.
afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, you always get it in there.
I had to get in there. I should have went there from this morning, but I had other meetings, so I couldn't actually make it
But you did pull up.
earlier. But I managed to make it and then bucked into one of the mans there. And I just had to say, look, bruv, I've only got like 45 minutes because for some reason, when guys are in the gym, I don't know if it's their second home, but they tend to be in there for like hours and hours, like good 2 to 3 hours. And I don't have 2 to 3 hours to give. I've got things to do, like the show,
Hmm.
etc. So I have to stress that to them. Otherwise, they start dictating, yeah, you're going to work on this part, yeah, you're going to do this, and then you're doing like 3 reps or 15, and you're thinking, bruv, I've got things to do.
I think they
So
get excited that there's a female there that is into gym.
yeah, perhaps that's what it is. I'm assuming that's what it is. That's what I'm going to say. That's what it is. I'm not going to think there is anything else other than just that.
Yes.
But yeah. So, welcome on board. If it's your first time to Now Chat Show, please make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're actually
Mhm.
trying our absolute best to get it up to 1,000 subscribers at the moment. We're shy by one, I think. At the moment, we're like
Ooh, road to 1,000.
769 to 770. So if we
Lovely.
can get more people to subscribe, that would be great. And
So what do we
obviously,
need the people to do? We need to beat the people
we need
to
people to subscribe to the channel.
like,
It doesn't even
subscribe,
cost
and
anything.
share.
And share, yeah, because we have
Uh-huh.
amazing. I think we have great content. We have great topics. We have great
Absolutely.
guests on. You know, what we're planning to do is have like an after dark show where we talk about things that we generally won't talk
Mhm.
about in the daytime. Um, so that's something that we're planning to incorporate into the Now Chat show because, you tell us what you want us to talk about. Feel free, leave a comment, let us know who's in the building with us so we can give you a shout out. Queen Akua, she's going to be joining us shortly. She's running a little bit behind schedule. She'll be with us in 10 minutes because obviously today's subject is unpacking the racism within.
Mhm.
I think you guys were saying unpacking the racist within before, right? But I kind of,
Mm.
it's still the same thing, really.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see once because Akua had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, she did.
I'm
But
I'm really interested in hearing her take on the whole thing. Like I've got my own, I don't know, experience That's the best way
Yeah.
to. It's all experience. So yeah,
I mean,
racism,
racism,
prejudice.
prejudice. We're going to talk about, can Black people be racist? We're going to talk about colorism. We're going to talk about divide and conquering as well.
Oh,
Africans against West Indians and West Indians against Africans, vice versa. Jamaicans against the smaller Caribbean islands, calling them small island. Why do we do that? So that's what we're going to generally be talking about today. Yeah, that's really it, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting topic, but I think once Akua joins
It's a
us,
lot. That is a lot to unpack. We don't have
yeah,
much time, but yeah, we'll do our best. I know we will.
and then we've got young Kelsey, Young's Create, that's going to be joining us towards the end of the show, where she's going to be sharing information about our upcoming event, which will be taking place this coming Sunday. It's a free event for all, and it's for all ages. And she's going to be showcasing her artwork, and the theme is dark-skinned women. How fitting is that for today's
Exactly.
conversation? So, Miss T, I'm just going to leave you to talk to everybody. Just, I'm just going to go and just check in with Akua. All right. So I'm just going to leave you to it, Queen. All
Leave
right.
me. No.
No, you got this. You got, oops, not me. I ain't got this right now. This is what happened when you tried to, oh, shame. Da, 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 da. 1 second, guys.
This is how you know it's live and it's real, dealing with
Yeah.
real people. As you can tell and see, we're not too. We're still getting around the technologies.
Yes, we sure is. We sure is. Just bear with me 1 moment. Yeah, Karen
I
talking to you while I
don't even
just.
know what to say, really.
Well,
Uh, Go on. What was you just about to say?
you go ahead because I'm gonna be away from the screen for a second.
Okay. So, guys and girls, I'm hoping that there are some guys out there as well. Please get involved with the conversation. Like I said, if there is anything that you would like us to touch on, or you have a business or an event that you want to discuss or promote, please get in touch with us. You can find us on all the socials, Now Chat Show on Instagram and on Facebook. We've also got previous programs that we've done that you can catch us on the replay. And they are fun and interesting, especially when we were in at iLive Studio. I was really having a lot of fun there. So please do. You can go onto iLive UK. Wonderful, wonderful radio station in Finsbury Park. They do a lot of events. They are grounded in the community. So please go onto iLive UK and check our replays there. We recently won an award for Best Chat Show. Yay! So, yeah, do us a favor and do that. And hopefully soon we shall be back on your radio waves. We're just waiting for the
Yes,
right opportunity to come up. So, and if
absolutely.
anybody has any, leads that way, do let us know.
Definitely do let us know. And also, if there's anybody that wants to, actually, before we even say this, just big up to Priscilla who donated and used the Cash app. She's donated to the show because obviously with us using like StreamYard and various different technology to be able to do these shows, it does cost us. And as you know, we've been running for the last 5 years and we haven't asked anybody for not even a cent. So it just, every little donation helps tremendously so that we can do more things, etc. So by all means, if you do want to contribute, I will share the Cash app in the comments. And yeah, that's it. So the Queen is going to take a little while before she comes and join us. But what I was going to say to you is, have you ever seen that show called Pass on
Pass.
Netflix? Pass.
No.
So basically, it's about it was in like the 50s, I believe it is. It's in the 50s era, and where people were, like you've got they wouldn't say mixed race. What was another word that you
I can
used?
guess what it is now. Now you started saying that.
Mulatto
So
people, mulatto people. So some of them could pass as being white people, yeah.
yes,
And there was one particular woman who came from a specific area, and she bumped into an old friend of hers, and she bumped into her in a restaurant. But the friend was married to a white man, but the white man never knew, so she was mixed.
woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, I believe the show is still available on Netflix. I'm not 100% sure, but by all means, do check it out. And by all means, do leave your comments as well. Let us know your experience as well. If you've come against any form of colorism, or just share your experience. It would be great to hear from you, because I'm sure each and every single one of us has got a story to tell. So why not share it here with us? Mark says yes, it is. Oh, so it's still on Netflix. Iola,
Yeah.
big up yourself, Queen.
Ah,
Love
yes,
to see you
Queen.
as well live. Actually, Iola, we should even have you on the show. I can share
Absolutely.
because what would be great as well, because we can have up to about say 10 people on the live. So if you
Mhm.
guys want to join in this studio and just have just share your experience, what I would do is share the link. If you want to be added to the show, you could actually join us and share your experience. But obviously, make sure you look decent, nobody come on to the show and you look half naked. Come on, I want to see no half naked people in here. So I'm gonna share the links. So if you want to, oh shoot, did I share that link or did I share such a dim twit today? Just bear me one moment. I'm just going to share the link for the StreamYard. So if you want to come onto the live, because we've got literally like 5 minutes before Akua comes and joins us. If you want to come on, by all means, click into the link and then you can come into the conversation and you can join us. Oh, Akua is there actually. Maybe you can come on a bit later throughout the show. We can get you involved. Just bear with us for a moment. I think Akua is just setting up. So I can see her getting herself prepared. I'm in my house clothes next time, though. No problem. You know what? House clothes is all right, because I'm sure your house clothes look glam glam. Hold
Who's in
on.
their house clothes?
Iola says that she's in her house clothes, so she can't. I'm in my house clothes next time,
Me
though. So
too.
I was going to say I'm in my house clothes, but I'm in one old top that just so happened to fit me still. So I'm grateful for that. Okay, so let's bring Akua on so we can start the conversation, yeah? So
Yes.
just bear with me. Hey, Akua, how are you? Oh, she's frozen. Hold on a second. Is she in London or is she in Ghana? I'm in my Batman outfit. Come with your Batman outfit. We can do with some entertainment.
Here's the Queen.
Hey, Akua. We can't hear you. Oh, she's probably just setting up right now. So while she is preparing herself, so yeah, so the show that I was referring to called Past, and basically, I don't want to give up too much information, but just in case anybody does want to watch it, but it ends very tragically. It was very tragic, the ending. Quite sad actually.
See, I kind of late, I would say over the past few years, I haven't really engaged in those kinds of programs because of the way that it leaves me feeling.
Yeah.
It's always negative, sad, and it brings up things for me personally. My mum can pass, and
Mm-hmm.
so I've had experiences that I can remember as far back as 2 years old.
Right.
So yeah, I used to live in Germany because my father was in the armed forces,
Yeah.
and my earliest memories was going to the supermarket with my mum. I think she was actually pregnant with my brother. So yeah, I would definitely have been under 3 years old. And this old German lady came up to my mum and was talking to her like in German, like my mum should understand her. And then she grabbed my hand and started rubbing my skin.
No,
Yeah.
you're lying.
And like, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I can remember looking at my mum as if to say, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why is she touching me? You know?
Yeah.
And I just remember my mum being so furious, and she did drop the patois, boy. Take your hand off my picnic. And the woman
Wow.
obviously understood the aggression, like, what are you doing? So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my earliest memory. So that was about 2.5.
And you remember that as being a 2.5-year-old child.
Yeah. It was profound. Very, very profound. And then
That's quite
also,
traumatizing. That is very
yes,
traumatizing as
yes,
well.
because as a stranger, like I would,
Yeah.
child in a foreign country, and then, just accosted by a lady who thinks that my skin color can come
Come
off.
on. Akua, can you hear us? No,
No.
no, 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 no. We can't hear you.
I
Okay.
know. I could
Oh,
hear
we
you for a
we can
second.
hear you now.
I can hear
You
you.
can hear me. I can hear you
Yes.
really low.
Oh,
Okay, I'm
really?
going to put it. I know you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
No, I can't hear you guys. Okay, I'll go upstairs and I'll go and use the computer.
All
So
right.
sorry. I'll
No
enter the house
worries.
and I'll use the computer. So I'll leave and I'll jump back on inside on the computer.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you. See you in a moment. Gosh, T, I cannot believe you went through that. That's absolutely devastating. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of my journey as, I don't like to say a person of color. I've kind of evolved into what I like to refer to myself and to the wider community of Black people as Nubians or
Yeah,
melanated beings. I just, Black doesn't sit well with me because my skin isn't black, and I've always, that's the other thing, it's always been very apparent, and people have always pointed out to me that I'm very fair. And so
right.
I know we're going to talk about the colorism, but it's something that I have been battered with
Mm,
from all sides, from Black sisters, dark skinned sisters, from white people, from everybody. Oh, you're not really Black. You mixed
mm.
race. No, I'm not. And having to justify, you know, my heritage. So yeah, it's been a fight. It's been a fight. But I'm comfortable in my skin now, and I know what I know, and I've done my research, and yeah, it's not an issue anymore. So
Yes.
I can talk about it without feeling triggered.
Yeah, that's amazing. Mark says, out of many, we are one. And that's so
Yeah.
true. It's such a true statement. And that's obviously a Jamaican,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's their slogan,
Well,
isn't it? That's
it's
their,
on a coat of arms.
yeah, Coat Farms, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've actually got the Coat of Arms. Just in case, guys. Yep. So yeah, so I get, you know, obviously we're going to have this conversation, and something that you said just a moment ago in terms of, like even say our own people, dark
Mm,
skinned people coming against you, saying, no, you're not really black, you're mixed, etc., etc. I think that's something that we really need to look into, because I think that's one of the things that we kind of like want to unpack, because obviously, we have so much prejudice within ourselves as a people. You know, you've got the Jamaicans or the West Indians against Africans, Africans against the West Indian. I remember growing up, it was very much of, you can't be bringing an African person back home. And as I've grown up, but my ancestors are African, so are you denying my great, 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 whoever? You understand what I'm saying? This is our heritage, this is our roots, this is our foundation. So us even denying who we originally are as a people is very disturbing. And not only is it just disturbing, it's that how then do we heal as a people? Do you understand what I'm saying? If we cannot even accept who we are in terms of our foundation. Nana's just made a comment. Please purchase and read the book Iceman Inheritance, written by a white historian, and breaks down the origin of European racism. I could see Akua shaking her head, because I know you're a bookworm. You know, I know you're a woman that love books. So I take it you've read this book that Nana, who is the founder of Access UK, as mentioned. Do you want to indulge a bit in there for us, Akua?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, girls, and everyone, and just huge apologies. I thought I could get to very short distance home in time, but Uber, all of this stuff. So huge apologies.
No worries.
Yes, thank you. Forgive me. Yeah, the Iceman Inheritance. I've got the book, but I've given it to my son. But I've watched all his interviews. The writer, he's not done many interviews, but there used to be more online. He's another one of these people who they've been taking his interviews off YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. He's quite a secretive guy because you know, white academia really came down on him when he wrote this book, which was basically saying that Caucasians became the way that they are in terms of greed, came from this sense of lack, because what he said was, you know, we all left Africa, and then as people were migrating, a whole group of Africans got trapped by the Ice Age, had to live in caves, had to, you know, they went through kind of like famine because of the Ice Age. He talks about, so cannibalism started. People started then stealing women from other tribes that had women. And he says that this really started this sense of fear and hatred, if you like, of the other Africans who, you know, who had it all, who had this abundance. So he says that when the Ice Age finally finished, actually this sense of hatred, and also this sense of lack that started up this greed that's like, I've got to have. He says that was started in the European man who became pale because of not being in the sun. So when he wrote the book, it was really seen as, you know, this is a line you shouldn't be crossing, say, as a white person, saying that this is why white people are racist and white people want to take and take and take of resources.
I need to
Wow.
read this book.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
heard of it. Definitely. Definitely. So, Queen, we left our last live last week on a cliffhanger where we started discussing, you know, the racist person within us
Yes.
as Black people. And I am so excited to continue this conversation because I know that you have a wealth of knowledge. So, would you like to begin or pick up where we left off last week, please?
Could I just, before you begin, I just wanted to just state what the, I think it's Oxford Dictionary, what it says racism is. What is racism? It says racism is a prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism. Gosh, you know me, I can't really pronounce certain words, but it is what it is. By an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So with that being said, Akua, can Black people be racist?
It's an interesting question, because all of us who've studied racism, the one thing that we're told is that it's not possible to be racist if you're Black. And I think the question kind of in it hides something. So what it hides is that if you're in an institution, you can enact racist policies. And actually, if you enact racist policies, you'll do quite well, because it's part of the institution. So, as I said last week, in terms of Black women having babies in hospitals, and we know that, I think it's some ridiculous percentage of Black women can die giving birth, and this is higher than white women. Now, even in those figures belies something that is hidden by, if you like, the powers that be always wanting us to talk about how much worse it is for Black women. The truth of the matter is, having a baby in the NHS as a woman is quite a dangerous thing. Women overall actually die a lot more having birth, considering if you put it next to the equivalent amount of care a man would need for something that happened to him. So what you find is, so often in our society, there's a real thing of making us think that everything is okay for white people and everything's really bad for Black people. What's often going on is everything is quite bad for a massive section of people. And in that section of people, Black people are treated worse, but actually everybody who is under a certain banner is not treated the best that they can. So in that, you're a Black nurse in a hospital. What tends to happen is all the nurses, most of the nurses, will be enacting the unspoken policy of the institution. So what I mean by that is, the nurse looking after women having babies, the nurse may go and be looking after men who are having operations. Actually, when the man having an operation kind of like squeals, he's got some pain, she will run and get him medicine. When the woman having a baby is squealing for some pain, she'll just kind of think, oh, it's not that bad yet. And then as a white woman squealing, she'll leave her just the same. But when a Black woman asks for pain meds, she'll leave her for a bit longer. Do you see what I mean? It's the umbrella under which women are treated is not good. And under the umbrella of it's not good, Black women can be treated a bit worse. But the person doing the treating can be Black, white, Asian, they can be any of those things, because in that institution, you learn how to treat people. And so that's what's really going on. The same way, I think we know that Black policemen and women, we know as Black people, just because the police person who comes to your door or is holding on to your son in the street is Black, we know that is no guarantee of fair treatment, because the workers tend to enact the policies unspoken of the institution that they work in. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does make a lot of sense. But then my thing is, with you giving that example, in terms of institution, if as a Black person, if I'm working, say, as a police officer, and I know that how you're dealing with, somebody that could be potentially my child or my brother and sister in a certain way, why would I want to be a part of something? I should want to make a change and make a difference. Like, even when you think about someone like, say, Leroy Logan, for example, they're trying to make a difference in terms of how police are being treated, etc. So I think if you're going to step into those kind of institutions, then your mindset should be, okay, I am to be a part of this organization, but I'm also here to help my people as well at the same time, to stop those gatekeepers from, continuing to do the things that they're doing, but just to obviously get in some kind of not even justice, just equality.
I think you're right, but and I think a lot of people will go into education, will go into the police, will go into the medical services with that in mind. They really will go in with that in mind, and very soon they find themselves shunned if they can stick with it. They find themselves passed over for promotion. They find themselves under little microaggressions. If you've ever been in a majority white workspace, we learn very quickly the conversations we can have and we can't have. So that's just even on the conversations level, let alone in the treatments of other people level. We as, let's say, Black women, we understand that actually in a work situation, just to even be forceful in what you have to say, or to say it succinctly, leads to, oh my God, she became really aggressive. So these are codes that pushes you back inside your box and pushes you to behave in the way that that institution wants you to behave. So if you're a teacher and you become seen as the one who's always defending the little Black boys, it's very stressful. So you start to pick and choose which little Black boy and how you can help them. So in your first year, you might be the one who's up there talking to the head of this department. Within a year, you're picking and choosing, you're speaking to the Black parents on the side, giving them good advice, but you're not pushing yourself forward, because it's actually very stressful to be that person. And this is how we become inculcated into the culture of a workplace. And it's really hot. That's why so many Black people leave teaching. So many leave they go in with a really, really, really good heart, and then the stress and the bullying just means, no, I've got to go. I've got to look after myself and my children.
I've actually been in that environment, and in fact, out of all the workplaces that I've ever been in the school environment has definitely been the most stressful. And I just wanted to say, I started to university recently, and the first day, this is the induction day, my lecturer is an amazing African man. He is at the top of his profession, and he was, talking, asking us about, introduce yourselves, things like that. And then there's another African man on the course as well. And the professor made a comment about, why African governments are so corrupt. And then they started having this conversation about how, African governments are corrupt. And I was just like, hold on a second. You're not going to do that while I'm here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we have X amount of Caucasians here. And what you're basically saying to them is that we're corrupt. Well, where do they learn it from? Where do they get it from? In fact, what is it, just African governments, or is it all governments? So I just deaded the conversation straight, like, we're not going to do this while I'm here. So now he knows, with all due respect, I will challenge you on those things, because that's why it's been able to continue, because nobody stands up because they're, for fear of retribution. Everyone just kind of shrinks themselves down and quietens their voice. I'm not that person. To support what you're saying.
But why would somebody do that? I mean, why would somebody have a conversation so openly to be putting down their own people amongst, those who doesn't even see themselves equal to ourselves? Why would you even? I don't understand the mindset. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, it's even the racist within that wants to be acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It's code. It's code to make the white people feel comfortable. And it doesn't matter if that person sees the white people as, maybe these people are potentially racist, so they're going to like me more. It's not even about that. It's just about, I have a group of Caucasians here and I need a code way of making them not be frightened of me.
Yes.
It's a code way of, and sometimes that's what people have had to do to get to the positions that they're in. You learn how to get along, to move along, and especially in educational institutions, because I think the system is proper hard, and the kind of strength of personality needed to really be yourself and rise through the ranks of academia is hard for everybody, because actually, especially in universities need professors to toe the line, black or white, because there's a lot of things, a lot of ologies that can be challenged by grassroots researchers or anybody else. But universities are pushing, they're always pushing a certain type of line in archaeology, in history, in medicine, in all of them, they're pushing a line. So they require everyone who enters, if you want tenure in universities, if you want to become a professor, if you want to move up, you better hold the line. Some people who do not want to hold the line anymore, they have to leave academia. This is black or white. They have to leave academia. They have to write books and be pushing out what they're learning. And some of those things can be 20, 30 years before mainstream science will accept their discoveries. So in that story of academia are also black academics who also, they have to toe that line, and then they've also got to toe the race line and make themselves amenable and make themselves non-threatening. And they get so used to making themselves non-threatening that they end up like this man, doing it when you don't even have to, because that's how racism and the internal racist works. It works by, after a while, you don't need nobody to stand anywhere and call you the N-word.
Yeah.
You will
Ready for
toe
it.
the line yourself. And
But
that's why we need to get rid of the internal racists, so you don't play that game with yourself.
yeah, but then isn't this something that's obviously been like embedded in us? Because even when you think about, like, say, with slavery, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the difference. You've got the house Negroes, you've got the field Negroes. Obviously the house Negroes is going to be everything, the master says, yes, master, blah, 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 whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's always been the gatekeeper all the time, no matter what. If you're planning to escape, master already know, because your own brother and sisters already snitched on you. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is something that's already been embedded in us. So how then do we unpack that way of thinking?
Excellent. So this is where I think we have to go inside, because what I understand about power is power shifts because everything in life comes with its opposite. So whatever happens, when they try to get us to be worried about anything, you don't even have to worry about it. You just have to look for the opposite, because everything comes in pairs in this reality. So we have this thing called racism. And so the other side of it is, whatever time you're born into, you have to look at where is the other side. So at the moment, we're in this period of time in this country anyway, and in America, where it really relies on us keeping ourselves down. They do it a bit on the edges, but on the daily, minute by minute level, we are constantly monitoring ourselves, how we appear, da 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 da. So what you've got to do is start with, I am going to find the racism in me. So I'll give you an example with myself. I was explained last week about going through all of the stuff with my son when he was groomed and everything. And after we were speaking, we started really having some deep conversations, and he was telling me about, you know, when he was a kid and we'd get in the lift and he would feel me freeze a bit when the black boys were in the corridor. And when he told me that, my heart broke because, you know, I was the parent who gave him the Black history books, and I would get him to listen to this person and listen to that person. But my body was betraying the fact that although I'm talking about know your history, don't let anybody put you down, I'm freezing for a bit when we go past a group of young black boys. So I had to start checking myself. And I still do it now, and I look for it in myself. I don't look for racism in other people, because what I found is, the more of the racism I get out of me, the more power I have when real racism comes about. Listen, I don't get worried by some tramp across the street shouting the N word. Who are you?
Come on,
You
come
cannot
on.
mess with my day. Look at you.
Mm,
What do you have? When somebody can mess with your day like that, you've got to go inside, because
mm,
part of you believes it.
mm.
That's why somebody can say something and you're all over the floor and you can't get yourself together, and your day is ruined because some idiot went past you. No, 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 no more. The real power comes from, I'm getting all this stuff that I have learned to believe, because what I came to understand is racism is like oxygen. When you're born on this planet now, you're breathing it. You can lie to yourself and say you ain't. I'm telling you, you are. We're breathing it. So what we have to do is start to get rid of it from ourselves, by checking ourselves, by noticing how we behave towards ourselves and other people, the assumptions that we make. Why don't you want your child to be wearing his trousers saggy? You don't want him to wear his trousers saggy because you're scared of the policeman might do, 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 do. And also, you're judging all the other young people that you see with the saggy trousers. You're not looking at them like that's a fashion that the young people do now. Let's be honest. We don't. We look at, oh, look at their trousers over there. Duh, 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 duh.
Yeah,
But we
but
see the young white emos, their trousers are sagging. Their trousers are sagging. They've got all manner of piercings everywhere. And we don't look at them like, oh, look at those emos over there. There isn't the emotion.
but would you not say that's down to programming? You know,
It is
like
all programming, but we got to
exactly
get rid of the
the
program.
program. Yeah,
That's
it's
it. We have to,
unlearning that, it's
Yeah,
unpacking that programming
totally.
because exactly what you said. You know, like I live in a close, and there's tend to be like loads of black youths standing, sitting, you know, whatever, making a home in my corridor. Yeah,
Yeah.
but before, I've never ever felt fearful towards them. My thing is, you don't live here. Why are you nasting up where I live? Like, I have to pay my service charges, brethren. Like, why are you nasting up? Go to your owner yard and nasty up where you live. Spit and do everything on your stairway, not mine. But I don't feel intimidated by them. You know, like before, where I've had issues with them, and you know, it's not even that I've had issues, it's just that I just have an issue. I don't mind you camping there because I get it, but it's when you're nasty up where I live, and then you take away yourself and go where you live, and my place nasty. That's what I've got issue with. So where I've had issues like that, people will say, "Oh, you know, don't confront them." It's not about confronting them. It's just like what you're doing is nasty. Don't do it around here. So I don't feel that I'm programmed in a sense of feeling fearful about them.
And it sounds like you're not, because that's the thing, is it's all when I had my shop in Peckham, and there was actually, I found out later that that shop actually was a shop that people were dealing from the 70s. So it's always been a place that people are dealing from, because at one stage Brixton police were actually using that shop to sell the drugs back into the community that they confiscated from other people, was in our shop. So when we moved in, about 2 years before lockdown, there were boys who would work outside of there. Now, by then, I dealt with my internal racism about young black men gathering. So it was a totally different encounter with them. It was a completely different encounter than maybe who I would have been 12, 13, 14 years ago. And it's not really about never confronting anybody. It's really about you being honest about what is rising up in you. I feel like dealing with the internal racist is not about doing it with anybody else. It's you with you. So it's always just you with you, and only you know what is rising up in you.
Yeah.
So, when I had to go and deal with the young guys, I had to say to them, come on, I'm trying to sell some shea butter here. You know what I mean? I can't have you dealing your stuff outside of my shop. And the thing is, I learned to love the young black man when I moved to Ghana. And that's where it just, and as a mother of a son, that's where I became mother to every single young man. And when I came back, the thing that I love is how our young men are, like being an auntie to everybody, knowing it, the amount of fights and ruckus I've put myself in the middle, knowing that most young men will never raise a hand to an older black woman. When I was in Peckham all the time, nobody even swore at me. So I know the heart of young people. The problem is not really theirs as a group. The problem is the adults who, if we see wrong, may not say wrong what is going on because of whatever we may be feeling. But the internal racist mostly rises up with how we shut ourselves down, how we feel about ourselves before we walk into the big building. And we're thinking, oh, they won't, the negative self-talk. Oh, I better just a bit extra because you know how they think about black people. Let me just do my hair like this because it's
Mm.
more internal dialogue
Yeah.
of how we censor ourselves and how we manage ourselves. That's where it mostly comes out of is we barely do it to anybody else. We do it to ourselves, and that's the system loves it because the
Yeah.
system don't need to do much. All it needs to do is give you a constant diet of black pain so that
Mm.
your trauma is always brought up. So this is why you got to show a black person dying at least 2-3 times a year. You've got a
Mm.
Shabba campaign to make black people feel under attack at least 5-6 times a year. That I'm telling you, I don't sign any petition for anything. I don't because I
So
will
why's
not
that?
enter. I
And
won't enter that
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 energy,
that polar
that,
opposite.
that's
I
right.
won't enter it.
Interesting. That's
So
interesting. Sorry, Goti.
no, I'm glad you mentioned it because I wanted to kind of like go to that whole George Floyd scenario that happened in America and then this whole big explosion of Black Lives Matter. And I'm just like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I'm not supporting that. I don't
Yes.
agree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
In fact, and now it's coming out that they're corrupt. Who are they working for? And it's that whole, it's the mentality that I wanted to touch on. We say it's crabs in a barrel.
Yes.
That mentality there, it has to go. And how do we get rid of it though? You know, as a mother of two, I'm working with my children so that they don't have those stigmas and those attitudes and things like that. But the wider world is so heavily programmed by what is on the TV, the radio, in the music, on the news. It's like you're pushing water uphill. For
Mhm.
me, I
Well,
find
I
it very.
think
Go on, Akua.
no. I was going to say. I think literally you. Okay, so Bobby Hemmett used to say this, and the first time I heard him say it, I was a bit like, "Rah, this is a bit harsh." But he used to say, "In a war, there's going to be casualties, and some of the
Mhm.
casualties are on your side, and you've got to keep pushing through."
Mm,
So this is a physical war, it's a psychological war, it's a spiritual war,
mm,
and part of maintaining the line is keeping your vibration up.
Yeah.
And so you've got to not think as much as possible with the events that tries to get you to sink. And the events that try to get you to sink are the events that get you to be in opposition to them. So they'll show a Black Death so that you can start screaming and shouting and feeling that pain. What I do when I hear some of this stuff, when it first happens and I hear it, I do a prayer to the soul of that person, to their ancestors, to keep them, for them to become a good ancestor for the fight going forward. That's what I give to it. And then I keep it moving. I,
Right.
I, I will not hold a placard. I will not sign a petition. But when it's in front of me, I will move. I will do what has to be done at that time if it happens in front of me. If I can find lawyers, I'll find lawyers. If whatever I can physically do, I'll do, but I will not join in the I'm angry at home gang. I won't do that because that's my emotion keeping what they want to do up. I won't join in because somebody let their son wear a t-shirt with a monkey on it and H&M wrote whatever. That Prada black anger, I won't join in with it. I will not join in with any of the Prada black anger because if we're honest, they do that one 2, 3, 4 times a year. They'll put up an image, a company, look at how they're treating us. And everybody's up in arms and shouting and a scream. Like what? We didn't see it last year. We didn't see it when
Exactly.
Dove did it. They all do it. So I say,
Mm.
let them, because that's what they do. And
But
for those people who want to scream and shout, let them too. I don't even try and persuade anybody not to get angry. I'm only in charge of me.
yeah, but then I suppose not everybody's arrived there. Do you get what I'm saying? Not everybody has actually come to that place where they can actually just see that this is a part of their conspiracy, of their plan to just keep us, emotionally compressed, oppressed, so to speak. But I think obviously for you to get to such a place, you obviously have to have some kind of level of healing. You've had to done some kind of work within yourself, or your environment has to even suggest that. Because I mean, even like, for example, Miss T, when recently I went to a march about, is it Child Q?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And T said, I'm not going.
Mm.
And I was just like looking at her like, yo, Michael, your mother, you got Pitney. She's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not going. And I
Mm.
just didn't understand it. And then as time got on, and I just thought to myself, what did that really result? What was the result of that? What did it achieve? And I think Nana even said signing petitions and marching is not going to do anything. So it's like we do these things, and I suppose it's because when you look at, like, say, in past like certain movements that happen in, say, the US, and things actually, well, it seemed that things was being done, but it wasn't really, nothing really came about it, because we're still
Mm.
in these times going through it. I had a dream. We're
Yeah.
still in that same mindset. We have a dream,
Yeah.
but we still can't be on that same hymn sheet, so it just goes to show it hasn't really changed anything. When it comes down to what you're saying, it starts within ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people have got different roles. I think for me, really what helped me to see a lot of this stuff was definitely the use of psychedelics. And the interesting thing is, I find the more Black people I meet who work with psychedelics, they all start coming to the place of understanding that the story of racism, it's not that it's not the story of racism, but there's another story in racism, and it's getting to the other story. And I find entheogens are really good at helping you see where you are in that story and what you can do. So some people are the agitators, like that's their mission on this earth. They are the ones to go forward and push. That's their mission. It's really about finding what your mission is in this story. And listen, Adelaide, I get you. Yeah, there's been, if you like, some movement. I suppose the real thing is, because racism is a shifting animal. It doesn't stay the same. You had people in America fighting to go to the same schools as white people. Cool. They went to the same schools as white people, but then at the same time, people got ghettoized, and the schools that were majority black had less money put in. So racism doesn't, it's not a fixed point. It's a shifting animal that says, we'll let you in here because we're going to wait for you around the corner as you come by. That's so you can always be marching, and if you feel to march, march, because it's not that you're not doing anything. It's just that racism is a shifting animal. It will meet you around every corner, because if you don't kill the animal, it's still moving. And racism's very good because it has us in the West never talking about the benefits of racism to the people who are racist. The benefits of racism is to the manufacturers of an iPhone and our laptops. That's the beneficial of racism. But by keeping it stuck in our bodies, we never even talk about our resources. We don't talk about our resources, which is why there is racism. Our resources back home are taken by these people for free. For free. Under that system, all melanated people of all hues must be kept at a certain level of being fixed in your body, because the real thing is not really about anybody thinking black people aren't as clever as anybody else. That's the story given to us. So we're constantly coming out with the first black woman to the fifth black man to stuff that white people have been doing for 200 years, stuff that we did 10,000 years ago, and now we're supposed to rejoice in. Exactly, Nana Ajiman, the illusion of inclusion. It keeps us fixed talking about all this little stuff, and we don't talk about when was the last time you people paid for any gold.
Yeah. Sorry, just before you continue, Nana, I've sent you the link for the stream. So, bro, if you are in a position to join us in the conversation, that would be great. Nana is the founder of Access UK. He works with young black boys who are, seeking employment. He's doing amazing work within the community, and, is somebody that I really respected within the community. So if you are free, sir, by all means, do join the live. I know it's very short notice. I have sent the information to you via WhatsApp.
Yeah. And we've only got a few minutes left.
Yeah. I mean, Akua, how much time do you have?
I've got time today. The event happens, so I got time. I got time.
How much time have we got? I know Sister Youngkel is going to be joining us in a moment, because she's going to be telling us about an upcoming event which will be taking place this Sunday. So we do want to bring her onto the live in a moment. Youngkel, I don't know if you want to join the conversation as well. If anybody wants to join, because we can actually have up to, say, 10 people on this live, to be quite honest. And I will share the link. Let's make it more community-based, get everybody on board. If you are dressed in such let's just get into a conversation, because, each one teach one. And it would be great just to hear from everybody else. So if you want to continue, I'm just going to send a link out into the chat itself. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to ask Miss P, so how come you didn't jump on the girl P thing? Q.
Oh, my reasons, like I was saying before, I've been within the education system for a number of years working. And as a practitioner and having children within school, I realized that I needed to be a part of the governing board to see that the governance. What does governance mean? How are they involved in schools? And I learned that that's low-level politics. That's where it begins. I needed to know what was going on in the school, where the money was going, how they were treating children. Because I was working in that environment, it became very apparent to me that there are no black people within the governing bodies. You're dealing with, especially within London, you're dealing with a lot of black children. So why are we, as usual, poorly represented? And for me, I didn't want to give my energy, because for me, there were so many red flags. Why is it taking so long to come out? You know, what are you going to, there was no, we do things impulsively with no strategy. Like, what is the plan next? And for me, I'm just tired. I have been slogging my guts out, working on the ground for the past, 20 plus years. I've been doing that work. So when I'm saying to parents, like, are you involved with your child's school? Do you go to the meetings? Do you know what they spend the money on? And then they're more interested in going to raves and watching EastEnders. So my thing is, like, do you know what? I'm tired. If you can't raise yourself at this day and time now, I don't have the time or the energy to do it for you. So, I've, like I said, been out there campaigning, trying to get our own free schools. How many of our free schools have we put applications in for that have been knocked back? Yeah, the Jews have got their own schools. The Islamic boards have got their own schools. Why have we still not got our own schools? So marching for one child is one child, and I'm sorry for what happened to her. I really, really am. But we need to do for a multitude, and we are way behind time.
Okay, so guys, just to quickly update everybody, Nana has just joined us, and Nana from Access UK. King, please, by all means, bring in your contribution, because I know you got a whole heap to say right now.
You know what? This is the first time I've joined you in a live, and I've just been texting like a crazy person in the background. Can you hear me?
We're grateful.
You loud and clear.
I need to join you more regularly. Seriously, that's interesting. Look, these are conversations we have every day in WhatsApp groups, communities. We just go round and round and round in circles. My thing is, what's the solution? You understand?
Shall I tell you the
What
solution?
is the solution?
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you the first solution. I think the fastest solution to free one's mind, I say, are different modalities to let go of trauma. Whether that be personal therapy, whether that be tapping, whether that be entheogens. I mean, I think psychedelics are the fastest way, but you can start straight away meditating. You've got to go in before you can find the way out. And I never used to think that was so. I really used to think, nah. But what I realize is, as I think apparently Einstein said it first, but someone told me, some person said it thousands of years ago, which is, you cannot solve the problem with the brain that's in it. You need a different brain. And so I found the only way to have a better brain to solve my problems has been by cleaning my brain and getting rid of, and that's what I think. That's why I'm like, everyone, psychedelics belongs to all of us. There isn't a corner of the world that doesn't have a psychedelic tradition. Get in there, get some therapy, let go of your traumas. We did not start life in slavery. So please, we've got big fish to fry at the moment.
And if you want more information about psychedelics, by all means, check out the previous episode that was aired last week, where Akua shared more information with regards to psychedelics, how the impact, how it's benefited for herself, and the amazing story that she shared with regards to her son as well, who was a part of County Line and now is safe and living his best life right now. And that was through the help of psychedelics, and obviously everybody else that was involved as well. And this is where Akua actually started African spiritual practices. She will be running another event which will be coming up in August. So by all means, do getting connected with Akua. Akua, if you could also just share your social media handles so that people can actually directly connect with you, that would be amazing. And Nana, if you can do the same as well. And by all means, anybody that is joined into the live just now, I've just shared a link. If you want to hop on, join the conversation. This is all community. By all means, do get involved, but keep it clean. Make sure you are showing yourself, because I will not include you with no frigging some picture of some dog. It's just not going to work. Sorry, just saying.
Love that. So yeah, you can get in contact with me. Instagram and Facebook, African Spiritual Practices. I run both of those pages, so that can come through. Or if you can spell my surname, my name is Akua Ofosuhene, and I'm online as that as well. But African Spiritual Practices are the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Great. So the next part we was going to discuss was about colorism, because this is something that tends to be within our community. Nana, you made some references to talk about light skin. Miss T shared about her experience when she was 2.5 living in Germany, and a woman was trying to scrub off her skin to see really and truly if that was really her skin color, which I just think is absolutely just disgusting. But, we have these issues within ourselves in terms of colorism, and we know more or less where this stems from in terms of, like colonization, etc. But how do we generally move away from that? Because we're still experiencing these things up to this very day. And it's even within institutions that we're still having these problems. I remember when I was working in a big brand, I was working under the Estee Lauder companies, and they had a model, a dark skin model, they had a light skin model, they had a Chinese model, they had a Caucasian model. Everybody was covered up apart from a dark skin woman who was showing some of her boobies. Now, I actually went over to the management and said, look, I've got an issue with that. That is a reflection of me as a Black woman. I feel very offended by that. And their response was, she's a model. She knew what she signed up to. She's agreed to it. And I was like, well, that's just not good enough. I am not happy with that. I don't care who's happy about whatever and how much she got paid. I'm just saying, as a Black woman who's working for this organization, you're not given a good representation of who I am. And I just feel very, offended by this. So in the end, it didn't result anything other than when it became about this whole Black Lives Matter movement, then it changed. It got shift. So, we're working for organizations that as well don't, they don't have no respect for ourselves. And as soon as you do speak up for yourself, you're looked on, you're targeted as, you've got issue, you're the angry Black woman. But if it was a Caucasian woman seen in that kind of light, they would have taken that down immediately. In fact, that wouldn't even be up.
You know what? I think, just to quickly come in, I think we have to reclaim our own definitions of our own beauty, everything else. You understand? Because we relinquish that to somebody else to define what Black beauty is. And that's what the problem is. They're using a European yardstick or measure of, it doesn't make any sense. That's what it is. That's what it is. And the colorism is obviously is an internalization of that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're still
yeah, go on, carry on.
Continue, Nana. Sorry, continue.
Also, just going back a bit about, the points I was made about what the solutions are. It was a rhetorical question, because the solution to our problem has been there for hundreds of years, right? But what we keep on doing in our community is trying to reinvent the wheel. One of the main reasons why we complain from morning till night about Europeans and Caucasians is our dependency on Europeans and Caucasians for survival. Once you break that survival, once you break that dependency, you won't need to complain about European. You won't need to complain about no European because you're self-sufficient. So there was a brother that made a comment in a group, and I think that's what he's leading to. The template's been laid out by, your Garveys and people of that ilk. But what we keep on doing is forget through historical amnesia, forgetting about that and not moving on. Being self-sufficient won't remove global racism, But the less you are dependent as a collective on white people, the less you complain about them. It's a very simple but forgotten ideology in terms of how we can kind of break the oppression and the control of black people globally.
I just wanted to answer the colorism thing. It's an interesting one because I think it is it's a reflection, as we know, of the society that we live in. It's something, and it might sound a bit bad to say this. I don't even take colorism seriously. I really don't even take it seriously. And I don't take it seriously because I think it can be another false flag where we go down the rabbit hole of getting all in our feelings about it, but actually it doesn't really do anything. I'm Ghanaian, and Ghana, I've heard, when I was in Ghana, I heard one term, I heard a king actually saying this to a queen, and he said to her, she was a dark, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dark queen, and he said as a joke, why should we listen to you when there's beautiful light-skinned women about? And I heard things like that as routine in Ghana and in the Ghanaian community. But to be honest, I don't even take it as something to fight against, because I think it can help you stay down there, because that's what racism relies on. It relies on us being, like Miss P said, crabs in a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? If you don't want to give me a job because my skin tone is too dark for you, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, I'll go somewhere else. Because we've got to be able to understand or overstand how this system works, which is about fixing you in your skin. And sometimes, because of our own internal racism, we can think something is because I'm black or it's because I'm a woman. You don't know. You don't always know why you were rejected. And that's what I like about Byron Katie's The Work, the process called The Work. It is brilliant. And there's one that's really, it's hard to watch as a black woman, where she's taking a black woman through the work. And this woman ends up seeing how she, through her fear of racism, was oppressed her sons. Not because she didn't like them, but the fear and the racist within. So for me personally, do you know what? If you only want to go out with light-skinned girls, good for you, because there's a lot of light-skinned girls out there. If you only want to go out with white women, good for you, because there's a lot of white women out there. And there's also a lot of other men who like me. So, you know,
Yeah.
I keep it moving on that one, if I'm honest.
I just want to introduce Young Creates, who's just joined us on the live. Young Creates has got an upcoming event. I'm just going to give us a quick little break. So anybody that's watching us live, you can quickly go to the kitchen or whatever. You guys that's on the live now can just have a little break with your mouth, because we're just going to hear a bit more about the Queen and her upcoming event. So if you can just bear with me one moment, I'm going to show a quick video about our upcoming event. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Hello, kings and queens. I'm finally holding an art display in my studio, Hip Hop Lounge, on June the 12th from 3 till 7, and the theme is darker skinned women. Please check down below for more details. Admission free. Come and see me, guys.
Kings and queens, I am a womb for all things. I am beauty, I am love.
Okay, great. So Young Creates, thanks for joining the live. As you can see, we're talking about unpacking the racism within, and how fitting is this, because you've got your upcoming art exhibition event that's going to be taking place this Sunday. So we're just going to, if you can just tell us a bit more about your event itself and why. you're doing this event.
Hello, sisters and brother. Thank you, Kaz, my sister, for giving me this platform to share what my expression of art is on Sunday, the 12th of June. For a couple of years, I've just been obsessed with darker skinned women. And I mean, when I say darker skin, I mean not paler skin. So it's all hues from the melanated diaspora, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just basically me just showcasing all my art, and it's literally just of women of all hues.
I think Young's is frozen for a moment. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm also going to put in the information. Oh, sorry,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I just want to I've just got lots of painting just to share of different women, and with the painting there's a lot of there's like a vibe behind it. Like you can come up with your own ideas of what the picture's saying to you, but the picture itself speaks for itself. I have words of affirmation beside the pictures. I have my own sort of stories beside it. I'm really nervous, so you have to excuse me if I'm not sounding, you sound
fine.
I'm just nervous. But I just want to just add to what you guys were saying in regards to us as a people. I so agree that we really have to go within ourselves. We can only do so much for the community, but we have to keep growing. We have to keep growing and be an example. And with that, people will then see your growth and would want what you have, and therefore they will follow. So we can only do what we can do, but really and truly, we are all on our own assignment to complete, and therefore we have to, really go within ourselves and just focus on what it is that we have to heal, because I don't even want to sort of say, oh, we are in bondage, or we need a lot of work. We have to just start to think positive and know that we are all coming out of this. The veil is coming off, and people are starting to wake up. People are waking up, and we've got to sort of focus on that, and just walk in love and let love be a guidance and lead us to the destination that we need to get to. And like I said to you, with the love that we will have self-esteem, and because we are goddess, we're gods and we're goddesses, we've got to remember who we are. And so therefore we I think sister, the lady with the red scarf on her hair, a lot of with the scarf, sorry, a lot of the with this black thing. Black is like it's trying to attack us emotionally, and we need to just rise above it. It's just so unintellectual. We are more than that. We need to be more emotionally mature, emotionally have self-control, and be more logic. It's really immaturity with, oh, you're black and it's like, come on now, let's just rise above this. We have come from a lineage of amazing men and women that have done so much for us as a people, and we need to just focus on that and remember that we are so much more than slavery. We have created much on this planet, on this earth. We've created so much. We have led the way, and basically what we're seeing now is a copy. The white supremacy is just trying to take what we already created and make it as though they were the ones who created it, and they're trying to flip it and make us the ones to be, the villain and the savage, when it's actually we are the civilized. We taught civilization, and they adore us so much that it's like a psychological issue. I think it's a mental illness that they have. I think they have a mental illness, and we've just got to rise above the fear, because I think fear can really cloud your mind. It can really cloud your mind and not see what the truth is. There's such a delusion going on, and we need to really come away from the delusion and see things what they are. We have done amazing things, and we still are. We're forever getting downloads. You've got our people creating new dances, the fashion, the way we speak, the way we look. We are so adored and so looked upon. We're so looked up. We people look up to us, and yet there's just illusions, and we need to just empower each other. So my art is basically just to empower and just to show the beauty of our women, because it's our women that have also been kind of, you know, put down, and we're the ones as women, you know, you've got these, you know, the gay white men. I have no issues with gay people, but you know, they mimic us, they copy us, you know, everyone want to look like us, they want to get a booty like us, want to get lips like us. Like, we have been adored, but yet we are the angry black woman, but yet they want to act like us afterwards. So, you know, I just want to just exalt us as women, as darker skinned women, and you know, let people know that we are more than enough. We don't have to try. We are enough. We are beautiful. We, you know, we have so much culture, you know, so the pictures are full of culture and just dark skin beauty. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
High five, high five, high five, high five. And I love that, young Kel, because what also I love about your art as well is where it actually stemmed from, because you obviously went back to that place of your drawing, your painting, because that's something that you had a passion about from many, many, many moons ago. And during the pandemic, you obviously revisited that. And now we are really blessed by the work that you've done in your canvas. I mean, I've been blessed with one of your painting. Will people be able to purchase painting on the day?
On the day, no, not as yet. This is like a taster.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a taster, because I think I might have more than one event, but I just want to open the floor and let people see me, get to know me, and, you know, get my website, you know, get the name out there, get members. I just want to just create a community, because it's not just going to be art. There's going to be a couple poems, and there's going to be just more depth about darker skin and what it means, what we have as melanated people, what is in our DNA, what we carry in our DNA. So, you know, I want to create something more, you know, that can like an asset or something like that. I just want to make it a community. So at this time, not as yet, but I do have a website, and they can order posters from the website. So that's what will
Okay.
be happening. So yeah, that's the deal.
All right. Fantastic. So, guys, if anybody's interested in coming to the event is going to be taking place this Sunday. It will be 3 to 7 p.m. I've also popped in the Eventbrite information. So do purchase your ticket today. You can do that instantly. And please do share as well, because it's going to be an amazing event. And also people get a chance to network and meet other individuals who are doing greatness. So we're going to go back to our topic. If you just joined the live, at this present moment, we are talking about unpacking the racism within. Currently, we have Nana from Access UK is on the live. We have Akua, who is the founder of African Spiritual Practices. We have my co-host, Miss T, who is here with us. So if by any means anybody wants to join in the conversation, I have shared a link. Do feel free, and obviously do continue to keep the comments going. If you do wish to make a donation to Now Chat Show, I've also shared that in the comments as well. All donations is welcome. It could even be £2.50. We welcome it. We are so grateful. So going back to the topic. So we talked about colorism. So what I wanted to, one of the things that we also had listed in regards to, you know, we've got Africans against West Indians against Africans and things like that. Now, this is something that I grew up with. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching or catching a replay grew up with this. And, you know, how do we move forward from that? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all Africans. Like, why would we deny our foundation of our ancestors? I remember being in Jamaica and saying this to, you know, some of the elders, but you do know we're Africans, right? And they're like, no, sir, not me. Me not African, me's a Jamaican. And I'm like,
but you know, it's the, you know, it's the ignorance, and once again, it's something else we just have to, you know, we have to just be light with it, not get too caught up even in that story. I mean, you know, my mum's generation, I grew up at a time, so I'd say from when I was about 11, I knew that in our community there was this kind of, it wasn't even unspoken, it was spoken, which was kind of like, you best not come back to this house with a Caribbean person. Like, that was a kind of narrative in the Ghanaian community as I was growing up. And then I remember when kind of like a really close family friend, we heard like she'd had a baby with a Caribbean person and everybody was talking about it. By the time the third person had, it was no longer news. You know, like it was no longer news, because what are you going to do? You know, as we moved from the 70s into the 80s and into the 90s, yeah, I still know, I've heard there are some Ghanaian parents who are that narrative in their house. You know, the only person they're hurting is themselves. They ain't hurting no Caribbean person. They're hurting themselves and their children. And it's kind of, you know, it gets on my nerves when we've got an Uncle Ruckus in our family, my mum's brother. Who is he hurting? He's hurting himself. He don't have no power with his prejudices. It's his own life he's making sure. It's his own life. So it's hard as you're growing up and you're hearing this stuff and the arguments we used to have in our house, me with my mum and dad, or it's all such nonsense, because now I bet you if I called my mum up here, she will deny it. She will deny it because her own life experience has made her realize that these stories that she grew up thinking were true, her own life experience showed her as a load of bullcrap, and she doesn't hold to them anymore. So yeah, we have to use a light hand, not to get too into it. I'm a Ghanaian person. I'll meet people who will try and say that there's a Ghanaian Nigerian thing. I love it when I tell them I lived in a Nigerian area in Accra and I've never lived anywhere so exciting in my life. Finish. I'm not joining in any of those stories, because do you know what? Even if 10 Nigerian people had robbed me, there's 140 million of them. So I can't say nothing about Nigerians as a group of people. Just the same way I can't say nothing about Ga people, about Northern people, about anybody, even about white people. I can't even say nothing about white people, because the people that their actions cause me pain, they're either dead or they're in charge of big old companies and I don't even know them, and I'm buying their equipment and using it.
Or you're buying their clothing and wearing it on your body.
Totally. It's you know, these things are, we can get down in the dirt or we can just be excavating the dirt from inside of our own hearts. And as the other lady said, just be the example that you want to be, because you can't change everybody. Hopefully their life experiences will change them.
Nana, I can see you. You seem like you've got something to say, and you're really kind of holding it in. So, what do you want to add on to this in terms of
No. You know my story. I think you know my story anyway. I mean,
you don't know your story.
Yeah, you know my story. I said not the audience that might not know me, but anyway. What I was gonna say is that it's definitely a generational thing. It's definitely a generational thing, and I think the youth that are growing up today is less of an issue than our generation and the generation before. Right? I came to this country. I came to the UK when I was 8 years old. When I arrived in the UK, my mom's boyfriend was Jamaican, a guy called Duke. Okay, remember, coming from an environment of Ghana, I don't know these internal isms that we have in our community. I'm completely oblivious. The African mind has no concept of racism. You understand? The mistake we make is that because we think a certain way, we assume that other people are going to be the same until we get our first kind of incidents of racism, and we're like shocked. You know what? It's a lack of education, isn't it? The divide is caused by. It was deliberately engineered. It was deliberately crafted to create those divisions. It started off from when they dropped us onto the other side, and also in Africa, creating that whole
Tribes.
disconnect. So we wouldn't link up with our brothers and sisters that were spread around the world. So it's been engineered for a reason. Yeah, it's been engineered for a reason. We kind of subscribe to that. Now think of it like this. Imagine I've been brought up in the Caribbean, right? I've been indoctrinated to think that Africa is backwards and uncivilized. Why the hell would I want to be part of that? If I'm from the Caribbean, right, and my parents are Jamaican, and I'm doing Black History Month, okay, in every October, and it told me that my history started off on a slave boat, why would I want to be part of that? You understand? You have to look at it from both sides of the fence, and all it is misinformation and deliberate creating of division that kind of fuels all that. When I turned 30, I took about 12 of my friends to Ghana, right? At the time, okay? About 10 of them were quote unquote Caribbean. They couldn't believe what they were seeing when they landed in Ghana. I think they thought they were going to see some mud huts and some, I don't know, lions or something roaming around the streets. Do you understand? They couldn't believe because the shock was, this is what they've been indoctrinated to think. They don't know no better.
Like, feed the world, let them know it's Christmas. Yep, all of that. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't blame them because this has been deliberately created to create the separation and for people to deny their own heritage. But once they see things with their own eyes, and once they understand certain things at work, that all disappears. You understand? I've never, like I said, coming here at 8 years old, you know, my two kind of elders or people that I looked up to were by sheer coincidence African, right? And that's what saved me because I grew up in an era where people would deny their African background, right? Routinely deny it. And because I had those elders I looked up to that were African, that were respected by, you know, in Cuban people that were Caribbean, African, whites, and so forth, I never had that kind of issue, thankfully. But I know other people that did. And they'll deny, you know, they'll pretend that, you know, one of their parents is from Jamaica or something. The other parent, you know, I'm half and half and all this other nonsense. I never had that issue. You know, but I was lucky in that sense. And plus I came from an environment where obviously my president's black, my doctor's black, my barber's black. You know, so I'm coming in from a totally different perspective. Yeah, I see people, I see black people in positions of power. My dad used to be mayor of Kumasi for about 30 years, right? Half of my family are all royals. You know what I'm trying to say? My other side, my mum's family are all, you know, doctors, lawyers, etc. So I came from that background. So I didn't come in with any kind of preconceived ideas or negative impressions about blackness. I came equipped. Plus, when I landed here, when my life turned upside down, I came from that lifestyle to living in a council estate and hotels with my mum as a single parent. I then learned the other side of the fence as well. So I had a very balanced. I've had a very balanced kind of upbringing, seen both sides of the fence, as it were.
But that's interesting because you already know who you are as a black man. Do you get what I'm saying? So by the time you came to the UK, you've already been exposed to a certain kind of environment. Whereas I suppose like some of us, unfortunately, haven't been exposed to that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Indeed.
It's only like that's what I'm see more, you know, professionals being lawyers, etc. And even when we had like President Obama, who was president, everybody's getting excited. And I was thinking to myself, well, hold on a second, but in Africa, they've got black presidents and all of that. But I suppose because it was a president of the West, not that he really did anything, but anyway, we move on. But, you know, it was more of this excitement of
we're always looking for European validation.
Validation, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's what people measure themselves by. If you're getting a pat on the back from a European, that's what makes. So if you buy into that, subscribe into that, you're gonna buy into it. That's all it is.
Miss T, you're quiet.
Well, I got lots to say on this one. So while you were talking, what came to my mind is that one of the reasons why I don't think we can unite the way that we want to in our minds is that the reality is we have got many different tribes across this planet. So there's not just Africa. There are indigenous people in Australia, in India, in China. Wherever you go on this planet, you will find us. So it's not all the time, it's not realistic to say that we're all going to get along. We're not. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that perspective, going back to what Akua said and Young Kel were saying, for me personally, I've got to the age in my life where I realized, you know what? The only person I can change is myself. And even from a young person, when I was having the confrontations, when black dark skinned sisters were coming up to me and saying to me, "You think you're too nice," and I'm like, I'm walking around minding my own business, you know. You think you're too nice. You think you're pretty in it. Well, no, I don't. You do. You see, when I flipped it back on them, because I was always fighting, and I would go to my mum and I'd be like, "I had a fight again. They're telling me this," and my mum's like, "Why are you doing that? You're gonna always be fighting. Be comfortable in your own skin and who you are. You know who you are. You know your parents, their heritage, your grandparents. You know who you are. Why are you fighting for?" So when I had that conversation with my mum at about 16, and then I flipped it and said, "No, you think I'm too nice. I don't think I'm cool. I'm happy. I love me and I love you. Why do you want to fight with me? I don't want to fight. It's your issue." And I kept it moving.
Yeah.
And that's when all my fighting stopped. But up until
Brilliant,
16,
brilliant.
I was always fighting. So going back to, for us to heal and to have a better place and to raise better children, we have to heal ourselves. We have to say and take responsibility for the injured child or whatever it is inside us. Deal with your issues in it and stop putting it out there, because when you put it out there, see that hurt and that pain, people can manipulate it. You don't have any of that baggage. Manipulate who? I'm happy.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And you will only attract that vibration. You will attract those people that are healed, happy, positive. And that's who you want to be united with.
Yeah.
All the others, let them go and do their thing over there, so. So I'm at this point where, do you know what? I will find my tribe. Not everybody belongs to the same tribe.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, Miss T. Absolutely. I think you're 100% right, because for whatever reason, we're in a universe where every facet there can be seems to exist. Even if we look at just countries, you've got countries with too much military. You've got America that's got more of its people in the prisons than anywhere else. You've got Costa Rica that doesn't have an army. You've got countries that have hardly, every permutation exists in the universe, in the world, in human beings. So there's only ever finding your tribe, really. And you can only find your tribe by being truly authentic to yourself. And then there'll be a magnetism that brings you all together. And that's all you can ever do, because I agree with you, Miss T. I'm not sure we can come together under certain, if you like, certain ideas. So I learned so much from researching Okomfo, the creator of the Asante people, the spiritual creator of the Asante people, the architect. And there's people still think the Asante people or Ashanti people are one blood. We're not. We're a confederation of 7 matrilineal clans that came together and became the Asante people. The only thing they had in common was a language, roots culture,
Mhm.
but the need to be free. Freedom is what brought them together as a confederation. And now all Asante people, we all think we're one blood. And so it's the beauty of it that if after 500 years, we think we're one blood. And one of the rules that Konfanoshi made was, if you insulted somebody by calling them their matrilineal clan, like I'm Asna. So if you were like, you Asna woman, there was a time that was punishable by death.
Wow.
Your matrilineal clan identity was for your home. It wasn't for lording it over people, because the people came together as and Asante meant Asa Inti. Now it's really interesting. Asa means dance, and it also means war. And it was, so the people were called because of war, or if you like, because of dance. They've come together. And that became the new identity under the golden stool, all of this kind of stuff. So I'm really in favor of groups of people that come together for a single cause. You've got Asantis who are Muslims. You had the traditional Akan religion. Even the traditional Akan religion was not one religion. Somebody may be venerating a rock, somebody else, they feel they to venerate that water body over there, to venerate that water body over there, to venerate this tree, whatever it was, it didn't matter. It was about, okay, we want to be free. So let's come together and be free. And however, whatever you need to do in your house, do in your house. And I always feel it's a really, really good example. You can be together, but you don't need to be thinking the same. You just need to be going in the same direction for however long you want to go in that direction for. There's another Asante saying, if you want a good marriage, you cannot be afraid of divorce. And I believe in that one too. Join me for as long as you want. And then when you're ready to go, just pack your bags and go. You know, and these things just kind of lighten the load a little bit. And we hopefully don't waste too much time in needing everybody to be on the same page. We don't. And maybe you don't even need nobody to be on the same page as you, even. Who knows? But all we kind of can feel is, if you feel right in yourself, like you found, Miss T, you know, when you could be right in yourself, you didn't have to fight nobody.
Yeah.
And it's a great example to all of us. Find the place where you can be right with who you are, because the world is the situation. You know, I wonder, the medicine tells me it's not about changing the situation. When you change yourself, you see a change in the situation. That's what medicine tells me.
Absolutely. And also spiritually, you know, this bacteria that we're bound to, spiritually, you don't have color, culture, you don't have any of those things. They are confining us. And once you can get to the place where you're enlightened and you know, like, you're just free and you're just love. So, you know, everybody, do your spiritual work, because that's where you're going to find your freedom. That's where you're going to find your heaven. You make your heaven. You know, the constructs that they've given us, everything that they have taught us has to be unlearned. It's misinformation, it's miseducation, you know, and for me, that's the most important thing right now. You know, when I'm talking to my children, when I'm talking to anybody, like, spirit doesn't have a color. And then they're like, actually, because it's something that's not talked about. Because they want us to be stuck in those constructs, because those constructs are your prisons. They don't have to give you a physical prison anymore. You're doing it yourself. And that's what they want. So unlearn all those awful things. And that's basically where I'm coming from.
Ooh, I just got chills in my spine. But it's so true what you're saying, because, you know, like, there is no color, there is no sex, there isn't anything. It's spirit, right? And it's not human. So it just makes you realize, like you said, we are so conditioned, we are programmed to think, to be a certain way. Before we even came into the world, we already was given a religion, a faith, and everything else, and given our morals and values. And then later on, when you then decide to be changing those things, you then looked on as if you're demonic or something. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. It's just absolutely absurd. It's just crazy. But yes,
And that is it. It is crazy. How are you? You know, you can't learn while you're stuck in a madness, a craziness, a chaos. You know, so it's really important to extract yourself, remove the distractions, and they make it scary. It's not scary, it's beautiful. Go into yourself, get lost in yourself. That's where your space is. You are the center of the universe, you know, but they don't want you to know these things. So that's why religion means to bind. Bind to what? Be bound to yourself.
but you see, when you're talking about religion, I get really, how can I say it? Not touchy. Maybe I am touchy because obviously it's just my belief system, how I was brought up. I was brought up in a Christian home, etc. And some of you may be on a live and maybe feeling exactly the same way, call yourself a Christian and everything else. But when you have that belief system, because it's so embedded in you, anything else is just like that is the devil. No, we're not deal with that. Red. You know what I'm saying? So it's really quite hard to come away from that thinking when you've been brought up with that thinking all of your life. And, you know, you've got testimonies of how you believe that God has changed or manifested certain things in your lives as well. So you feel that you now have got evidence. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that evidence is
So
not
is it belief or is it knowing? Because when you're saying belief system, that means that there's a doubt. When I'm speaking from a place of I know this.
Yeah, but then it's the same thing with Christianity. We know that 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 God is the creator of all things. We know that Yeshua is the Son of God. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's what we still being embedded with to know that's what we believe, and it's the knowing, which then obviously is the belief, and it's all combined into one. Do you understand what I'm
And
saying?
it's fair, and it's fair enough. I mean, you know, our family, up until I think I was saying last time, you know, up until recently, all we knew about really was my mum's sister, who was very big, famous Christian healer in Kumasi and Ghana, and to this day, over 100 churches in her name. And so it was kind of like, yep, Mommy D4, she came along, she took the curse that was on the men in our family away, and she said nobody should return back to traditional Akan religion. If you do, you will die. That's how my mum's sister left things with us. So roll on 25 years after her death, my brother's gift starts coming online. He's not Christian, he's not affiliated with anything, but he's getting the gift to see chakras, he's getting the gift to see your timeline, he's getting the gift to tell you what's going on inside of your organs, he's getting the gift to heal. And my son was really like, yeah, but mum, but you know, mommy said, and it's like, but Seren, the fact is here. He is able to help people the same way mommy helped people. And then we find out, actually, this thing seems to be genetic, because it turns out my mum's father was an Akan priest, they call a comfort, traditional Ghanaian religion witch doctor. So was three of his brothers. So was their father before, all the way back. We can count back 500 years of this. And what I see is that actually the gift was genetic. And what seems to happen is whatever age you're born into, people through their own choice choose where to take that gift. So my mum's sister, she took it to the church, and then she made it out like, you know, the God and Jesus did it.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what about Yao? Because he ain't standing in any pulpit and he's got it. So it just made me kind of realize that this reality is amazing. We are so powerful in this reality. We can literally take our gifts and plonk it anywhere and decide it's the table. It's the table that gave us power. We forget we put our gifts on that table. Table didn't give you nothing. So, but the gifts are so amazing. My aunt never went to school one day, and she was telling people stuff from the Bible. She was reading the Bible. She cannot read a letter, but that part of her gifts. So it's kind of, the religious thing is really, really, really interesting. You know, we are so powerful. We can give our power to anything and decide that that's the source of our power, but it's us.
Correct.
And once you start kind of, I've been playing around with I'm powerful, and I've got to tell my friend, yesterday we were talking about it, and I was saying, okay, I need a clear grand to just come out. I need a clear £1,000, because I have told my higher self I need £1,000, but it's got to come clear from just come. So we're having this whole conversation yesterday, and I said 14 days. No word of a lie. I woke up today. I was expecting £300. I knew I had £300. I woke up today. I opened. I knew £300 coming in. I knew what that £300 was supposed to do. Do you know how much I found in my account? 1,100 and something pounds.
Can you do that for me?
Yeah. Can you just
You can do that for you, Nana.
I am telling you, we can do it for ourselves. We can do it for ourselves. So I was like, thank you, higher self. You know, I was like, thank you, my Damon. Thank you. You came through, because I'm trying to communicate with my higher self, if you like, more and more and more. And if I am creating my reality, then I'm like, okay, let me get intentional in this stuff. Let me get intentional with my emotions, because the reason why I went the whole grand thing was yesterday I found out that I owed £300 accidentally, and I was so angry. And then I thought, no, that emotion over that loss, I need to and I did my tapping, tapped out the disappointment of this accidental 300, and that's when I turned it around. I was like, right, higher self, we are talking. I'm done with this disappointment, man. I need a grand. And I gave it 14 days, and it gave it to me in 24 hours. So I'm on that tip now. I am on that tip now. I am talking to my higher self, and I'm checking my emotions, but I'm not squashing them down. I'm releasing them, because when we squash them down, they're still there. It's whatever you need to do to release. You got to just release it, and then choose the new emotion, and be talking to your higher self, man. So listen, I can't even wait till I go to bed, because me and my higher self are going to have some conversations.
Love
Mate,
it.
I think I'll be joining you on that one as well. But this is the thing, because of the conditioning, you know, like so much of us has got such a poverty mindset as well. I know I'm definitely coming from that lineage. And yeah, I rebuke it because it's changing, because I'm tapping that out. But you know, but it's just like believing. It's going back to knowing and the believing. You know, even young Kelsey even mentioned, you know, the power that's in our tongue. There's life and death in the power of our tongue. Our tongue could build us up or it can break us down, you know, and that's how powerful we are as individuals. So I think even what you was mentioning about, say, religion, I feel sometimes with religion, it just really keeps us in a certain position. It just keeps us almost still oppressed to a certain extent, you know, so that we don't tap into the real power that is within ourselves. Because even when you look, say, in the Bible, and you hear about like what Yeshua done and walking on the water, and you're thinking, okay, if I have that same anointing inside of me, then why am I not doing the greatness that he was doing back then? Do you know what I'm saying? If we say that we believe in that, then there should be so much miracles. There should be so much greatness happening in this world currently right now, you know. So it just makes me realize that how what you're saying is accurate. We need to be really manifesting and talking and really connecting with our higher self. But in order for you to do that, again, it's going back down to healing.
You know what? Can I come in quickly on this subject? I think sometimes people think that there's a disconnect between what's in the Bible and, you know, traditional belief systems or whatever you want to call it. All right. In the Bible, there are clear references to the same thing, right? Taken from different contexts. So in the Bible, when it says, "Oh, ye are gods," that's exactly what it's saying. You are. You understand?
Psalms 82.
So when it also says that, "Let us make man in our own image and likeness," right? What do you think that is? What do you think that they're talking about? You understand what I'm trying to say? So, and if you go even deeper, and you go back to the when you have what they call again, those that group in America, when they call themselves gods and people look at them like they're crazy, right? They say they're not. It's not just word for word's sake. It comes from a source. Do you understand? So when it says, "Oh, you are gods," when it says that, "Let us make man in our own image and likeness," that is it. That's what they, when they call themselves each other gods, that's what they're talking about. And if we know the original man and woman was an African, 50,000 years ago, there was only one quote unquote race on the earth, which is the human being, right? So if we're the first humans made in God's image, who do you put two and two together? You get the maths. So it's not as different as we think it is. If you claim to be Christian, it's quite compatible. The teachings and it's very, very compatible with the African tradition, so-called African traditional religions.
Yeah, and it is how you read it, because I know I'm not really a reader of the Bible, but I find it really interesting because since my brother's gifts have been coming online, he's been finding lots of things in the Bible that point to what's happening inside of him. And so it's really interesting. So he reads the Bible as, if you like, an encyclopedia of the body. So he's been able to show us things in the Bible that are actually talking about the brain. But so even the whole thing of the Christ is your crown, and the movement of energy. So it's very interesting. Like, it's a fascinating book, because literally you can read it as a book of the body, a book of spiritual transformation. Like, one of the things I tell people so often, I'll speak to people and they say, "I've been getting more spiritual, but I'm really scared that I'm being attacked, because at night I feel like I'm being held down." And one of the things that I had as a knowing was that this feeling of being held down wasn't actually something malevolent and evil. And I had that as a knowing. And when it was started happening to my brother, I kept on saying to him, "Go with it, sink into it, let it push you." And we were constant, and it was very hard, because if you think something's doing something bad to you, how do you just hug it? How do you just go with it? But one time he let it push him off a cliff, and he just held on to it, and they fell. They never landed. What he now understands is, when your spirituality is coming through, and your higher levels of power are coming through, it's so foreign to you that it feels evil, because you've never known such strength, you've never known such power, you certainly didn't know you had that within you. So you see it as an adversary. And unfortunately, your pastors and people and they're not doing it deliberately, they don't even know that they're serving somebody else's agenda, but they will tell you, "Pray, fight it, it's the devil coming to you, it's entities." Even a lot of people in the new age thing will really be on it about the entities. They don't realize they brought that idea from religion. Always looking for the thing that's against you, always looking for the thing that you should fight. My knowing of the spiritual realms is actually a lot of nearly everything you face in the spiritual world is just an aspect of you. That's not to say that somebody can't try and interfere. But what I found just through personal experiences, when somebody tries, your spiritual world is your universe. You are God in that universe. When somebody tries to come in, that's like somebody coming off the plane in Heathrow Airport thinking that they can be taking shit. You don't even know the currency in that place. So when something foreign enters your spiritual domain, I am telling you, you literally can go like that and they disappear. Because it's your world. It's like someone coming into your house and thinking they can go straight to where you've hidden your money. They can't. They don't know. It's the same thing. So I always want people to know that whatever you might be facing in the spiritual realms, if it's really scary, it's yourself. Anything that's outside isn't even, it's like a gnat in your spiritual space. So I kind of veered off a little bit. I just kind of remembered that, but it's really in your spiritual realm. It's brilliant because when you start bringing that power back into this reality of knowing and your power, I think then things start being really different. That's when your the synchronicities I learned this weekend, it's your higher self communicating with you. It's you doing it when you're getting your 11 11s, 22 22, 33. It's you doing it. It's you contacting you. That's why it feels a bit funny. There's a playfulness. So it's an opportunity for you to be like, thank you, I see you there, I know, okay, let's communicate more, let's communicate deeper. But I only learned that bit this weekend at the event. That's why I've just been like talking to my higher self the whole time, because I'm realizing, oh, that was you knocking on the door. All of those numbers, all of those times on my phone. Every time I look at my phone, it's 8 past 8, 11 past 11. That's you just going, hello. We can create reality. We can alter reality. We can make our reality. We're that powerful.
Do you
So
listen to Louise Hay? Do you listen to Louise Hay?
I used to, but I'm going to start again because my friend was saying to me that now with what I've learned, I'll learn even more listening to her again. So I'm intending to start again for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of what you're saying is actually lining up with a lot of her teaching. And that's somebody who I've been listening to for the last, gosh, about 2 3 years. I just found, well, I would say I just found her, but obviously I didn't find her, but it was the right time for me to be listening to her. In terms of what you're saying, a lot of it, we can create our reality, because the power is within ourselves. We have the power to even heal ourselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you were saying in terms of, like when somebody speaks hate or you dislike something about somebody else, that's actually you talking about yourself. Even you attracting the same kind of partners or the same kind of friendships, that's something about what you're dealing with inside you. Hence the reason why you're attracting that same kind of energy. But it's also learning to walk in love and to release certain things and to really just like be more acceptant of ourselves, because a lot of us, we haven't been taught to be acceptant of who we are currently right now. It's almost that we've been taught that if you haven't achieved XYZ, then you haven't done great. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. The fact that you're even breathing, you're alive, you still have an opportunity to do the thing that you consider to be great. So it's all about just really understanding what our mind is all about and just understanding the power that's within ourselves. But I do want to wrap up the show and give us another, like, say, 5 minutes. So Akua, if we can just end with, well, not end with you, but if you can just let us know what's going to be coming up with you, because we know you've got your event going to be coming up again, is in August, I believe.
Yeah, near the end of August the 26th and 27th. I won't be interfering with anybody's carnival. It's the Friday and Saturday of the August bank holiday weekend, and it's going to be a really good one. There's a couple of really powerful people from America that I'm hoping will be able to join us, and we're just putting together like about a 3.5 hour magic workshop for people who are really, really deeply into being able to literally manipulate and control their reality. We have an amazing, amazing Kabbalistic magic. That's magic with a K on the end, not some, you know, bunnies coming out of hats. So yeah, we've got some really powerful things lined up to really help us release trauma, because we've got to do that one first, and then manifest the reality that we want. So yeah, African spiritual practices, type that into anything, you'll find us. So thank you so much for letting me plug that again.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And
Yeah.
Nana, what's going on? What's up coming on with Access UK?
What's coming? Same old, same old. Same old, same old. Helps
You know what?
supporting young. Yeah.
Maybe you share on a platform what Access UK is about, just in case anybody doesn't know anything about Access UK and they want to, know a bit about yourself. If you want to just plug it, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So Access UK stands for African, Caribbean Careers and Employment Support Services UK. And essentially what, as the name implies, we're a careers and employment solutions service specifically designed to support young, quote unquote, Black people. Yeah. So we work around the 3 E's: education, employment, and enterprise, really providing really tailored career solutions for our people. So that's essentially what we do. And obviously that connects to so many different stuff around quote unquote Blackness. But yeah, that's it. As a organization, that's what we do.
Amazing. Well, guys, we've come to the end of the show. We just thank you all for joining, and thank you guys for contributing to the conversation, and just big up yourself to those who actually make a donation as well to Now Chat Show. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. And until next time, we will be back. I'm not sure what the topic will be, but if you have any topic suggestions, just holler at us. If you're not following us, you can just type in, Google us, Now Chat Show, and just send us a message, and we will endeavor to, do a show based upon your topic. And if you are a somebody who's just started up a business, because I think what we're going to do next week, I believe, I'm just waiting on confirmation, is we're just going to have something similar to this. But if you have, like, say, a business and you want to really share more about your business, we're going to just put the platform out to you, so we can have like 10 people just sharing about their business, why they started their business, what they're trying to achieve from the business, etc., or what they've already achieved out the business, and how people can connect with you. Or if you've got a project coming up, anything of that nature that's going to basically be of service to other people, it's going to help people's lives, then we want to hear from you, because we're just going to have like about an hour conversation or hour and a half just showcasing you on this platform. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It doesn't cost you a cent. The more subscribers, the more viewership that we have, we can start getting paid on these streets, y'all. That would be fantastic, because you know what, at the end of the day, we believe that how Now Chat Show, we give great content because we have amazing guests like we had this evening, but we need you to spread the word, because we can't do it all by ourselves. So Miss T, do you want to say anything ending?
No, sharing is caring. Share the love, do the work on yourselves, and yeah, we're here to support you. We're here to talk about it. Come on.
Come on now. So until next time, we'll see you same place next time, next week, God willing. Peace out. Peace.